Welcome back to Sunrise Daily, continuing our focus with Senator Shehu Sani, who was involved in the negotiation and being instrumental to the release of 21 Chibok girls. Well, Senator, you say you're not involved in this current negotiation. So what if the groups or Boko Haram or we get from any of those quarters that you started this, that they will also be a little comfortable if you were part of the negotiation, if you could start by telling us why you're not involved in this one?
Well, first of all, I don't see why I should be there for now, for the very fact that I have already set a face. And the person who I personally introduced for this negotiation has been doing a very good job. And he is capable of doing all that I can do. So as far as I'm concerned, there is no one I can vouch that could have done this more than this person who has helped. And also the fact that the new DSS chief, Daura, has been a very committed person to this. He has worked tirelessly and has been able to do what others couldn't do in the past. And as such, I have seen a very good team in that. First of all, even before I reached out to the Swiss, I did try to reach out to some other countries to serve as mediators, but they flatly turned it down. But knowing the history of Switzerland, one that has intervened in conflict situation globally and has helped in bring about peace and sometimes intervene in having negotiations succeed globally, and they have that resume for this. And also the ICRC, being a recognized international brand name and a humanitarian organization, have also been fully involved. So the missing link in the last administration was that the security elements of it were not very much keen on following through to the latter with this draft which I submitted. But these ones here were fully committed to it, and we are not also, they didn't give up despite the fact that they had a lot of missteps and failures. And so I believe that those that I introduced for this have done a good job, and I don't need to be there at all.
Just wondering though, I mean, now that this 21 girls have been released, the first batch it would seem, it does raise the stakes for the next batch of girls. How do you think negotiations are going to go on both sides, both on the side of the federal government and the side of the Boko Haram insurgents?
Well, when the efforts were, the initial efforts, part of the demands by the group the last time was that they were not prepared to release all the girls at one as a whole. They want assurances that if the process starts, it's going to continue. And it has been in the plan that there will be some small number of persons to be released. And when that succeeds, and then we move to a larger number. And the idea of this is informed by many things that had happened in the past. Sometimes negotiators end up being arrested, and sometimes even the insurgents themselves end up being killed in an attempt to dialogue, and sometimes you see sabotage coming from different sides. But it was part of the plan to have a few ones released, and then that build confidence on both sides that they can trust each other and work towards the next step, which is the release of the larger number of them. But I think it is the hope of parents and every Nigerians to see each and every one of the girls released. But when we reach that certain point whereby the insurgents said this is all they have, and they don't have anyone with them. And then we don't see that number which we hope to have seen. And then that is where there will be a lot of questions that will be raised. But I fully believe...
You think that that's going to happen at the end of the day? That, we're expecting about 219 girls, and perhaps not all of them will return?
Well, you see, the figures that have been put on papers and on the news in the last 1.5 years, or since this abduction happened, has not been very definite. It is either 275, 293, 260, 219, and then all these things here. So it remains an approximation or another number.
Well, there was a presidential committee on that, to do fact-finding on the Chibok committee. I think that's the figure everyone is working with, 219. I think that was the figure they were able to establish, they're actually looking for as missing girls from Chibok. You don't think that we'll be getting to see up to that?
Well, some of these things here will be better after the last releases are done, and then people will ask, when you add 21 to 83, it doesn't add up to 219. And then you now ask yourself, what happened with the next step? So what I can say fully now is that the process simply needs to be supported now, and then we will still get to the other issues, other challenges that had happened at the later end.
Are you insinuating that 83, the second batch, which we hear they're negotiating now, is going to be the second and last batch?
Even if it is not the last batch, and certainly the figures being put forward could not be gotten in full, but because there's so many things that happen. And I would prefer to have said it, to make reference to what this girl said, that bombs were dropping very close to them. And in a war situation like that, things could have happened. And I believe that it is better we just hope that all the figures that are being bandied will be out. But I knew very well that this figure of 21 is the one of confidence building. I can tell you that in other failed attempts, it reached the very point whereby it's either the security agents and the negotiators will be at one point expecting the girls to be brought there, and then some things will happen. And this had happened more than 45 times, both in the last administration and under this administration. And this is a masterstroke. We simply, it makes everyone to have confidence that more will come. But the 83 that are being discussed now, certainly there will be success because it's the same team that is still working on it.
There are, insinuations. I mean, we're talking about, first of all, the stakes being raised, the fact that the parents of the next batch of girls will be expecting their daughters. Well, if we say that, this war against terrorism has been successful, the president has said that, they will not consider the war against terrorism victorious until, the Chibok girls are brought home. Can we say that this would eventually summarize or end the war against terrorism?
Well, I think the whole thing is that we cannot say the release of all the girls will bring an end to the whole insurgency. But it is a significant step in the move towards an end. But what we need to understand very well is that even before the girls were abducted, the insurgents were still operating. And I don't think we have seen the last of the insurgents, even after all the girls have been released, because for the next plan will be to move towards possibly ending the insurgency through another negotiation process. But for now, I don't think even those that went and got these girls back are convincing themselves that that is the end of the whole thing. But I can say that many things led to this success. And one which is very important is that the military have really done a very good job by dislodging the basis of this and have made it so impossible for the insurgents to move freely as they used to. And also the very fact that the new set of negotiators are actually committed to it and are giving guarantees to other sides that bringing the girls is not a ploy for us to arrest you. It is part of the process which we are guaranteeing that is going to work. So because if this 21, if there was sabotage in this 21, certainly 83 couldn't have been on the cards now. Yes.
So you still see negotiation as the way to finally put an end to the insurgency?
Well, if we were able to get these girls out, not through the use of force, through negotiation, I believe that that is an option that should still remain on the cards, that we should explore the options. And it is possible to end the insurgency by negotiation for the very fact that force has been applied and it's clear to them that you can't win, you can't overrun the Nigerian state with few of you picking up arms to kill, to bomb, and to host flags in some remote parts of Nigeria. And as such, we can now move towards the next phase. And I believe that this same team that were able to secure the release of these girls should still be retained to move towards bringing an end to the insurgency.